Blessed Thursday morning, everyone. Today is April 21, 2022, and hashtag Team LRC is back for a new set of learning sessions through our webinar series entitled Research is Life, How to Ace Your Research Paper. So, kumusta po ang bawat isa sa atin? I do hope all is well with you. Gising-gising na po at sasabak muli tayo sa isang makabuluhang usapan ngayong araw na ito. Kaya naman sa mga nakatutok sa ating FB Live, magandang umaga. Let us know kung saan po kayo nanonood ngayon. Please comment them down below. So good morning kay Leonid Talabis, kay Ara Dangan, good morning po. Samantha Nicole Velasco, good morning po sa inyo. From BNHS Senior High School, Jade Angeli Lotina Pastro, good morning po sa inyo. Kay Maylee Lagiles, good morning. So from NTC, Sir Angelo Manuel, good morning po. Isa sa ating mga active na followers. Good morning from the University of Makati, sabi ni Jonas Icaro. So good morning po sa inyo. Yes, Sir Mardy Impal, it's our second session and we have 8 more to go. So tutok lang po tayo sa ating Research is Live webinar series. So madami pong nag-join na po sa ating Facebook Live ngayon. So good morning po. From LSPU, Laguna, from Laguna State Polytechnic University, Sir Raymart Pialago, good morning. So I guess on board na po tayong lahat. So kung wala pa po dito ang inyong friendships, ang inyong classmates, ang inyong po mga students or teachers and colleagues, itag na po natin sila dito sa ating FB Live. At i-share nyo na rin po ang ating video para sama-sama po tayong matuto ngayong umaga. Okay? So as of this morning, we have around 4,431 registered participants. So talaga naman po kami sa LRC ay lubos na nagpapasalamat po sa dami ng mga mag-aaral at mga guro at mga mananaliksik na willing matuto pa tungkol sa research, di ba? So talagang sama-sama po tayong matututo ngayong araw na ito at sa susunod pang mga session. So especially nga po with our topic this morning, which is about the social relevance of research. Right. So I hope on board na po tayong lahat. It's already 9:02 in the morning. Welcome to Research is Life, How to Ace Your Research Paper. For this webinar series, our team prepared 10 sessions. So saan ka ba naman? 10 sessions, siksik na mga sessions for us to fully appreciate the value of research in our life. Sabi nga, we cannot not research. So for our teachers and students to learn different tips and strategies on how to further improve or ace our research paper. And especially po sa ating mga students, mga undergrad students na nasa kanilang mga thesis ngayon. So kumusta nga bang ating mga thesis, mga iskolar ng bayan? I hope very progressive tayo sa ating mga undergraduate thesis and especially sa ating mga graduate students who are doing their master's thesis or PhD dissertation. So sama-sama tayong magtutulungan para sa ating mga thesis or dissertation. So I'm Joshua Michael Jonas, University Research Associate of the UPLB Learning Resource Center, and yours truly will be our webinar's moderator. So we are now on our second session for today on the topic, Solving Why, Doing Research with Social Relevance. So we'll be learning about many insights on why should we do research? Bakit nga ba tayo nagre-research in the first place? Or ano nga ba yung essence ng research? What is the purpose of our research? I'm sure many of you are having these thoughts at the back of your mind. Para saan nga ba itong ginagawa kong pananaliksik? So our speaker will also be sharing her thoughts on the different areas of research that we can explore, especially that of our Sustainable Development Goals. So I hope familiar tayo sa ating mga SDGs, especially sa mga taga-DevCom. So shout out sa ating mga students from DevCom who are watching with us right now. Right. So just a few friendly reminders for our webinar before we proceed. Number 1, at all times, please keep your comments helpful and considerate to the speaker, moderator, and to your fellow participants. Second, if you have questions, feel free to write them down below our comment section and make sure that they are relevant to the topic this morning. And last but not the least, please do not forget to answer the evaluation form after the webinar. Our team will deeply appreciate your comments and suggestions. And please be reminded that the deadline of submission of responses is until 10 p.m. tonight. Okay? For those who will not be able to join us today because you have an equally important matters, make classes, or another meeting to attend to, don't worry. You can always watch the replay of our sessions through our Facebook page. We now have strong 92,000 followers. So again, kami po sa LRC, we're truly grateful from the bottom of our hearts for your overwhelming support, which serves as our inspiration sa team. Likewise, you can also watch the recorded sessions on our YouTube channel. So just search for UPLB Learning Resource Center on YouTube. So as of now, we have 2.58K subscribers. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. So parang ano lang, no? Parang vlogger, di ba? So also, click the notification bell to keep you posted or updated with the videos that we upload on our YouTube channel. Likewise, we would also like to invite you to follow and connect with us on Twitter, TikTok, and LinkedIn. So just search for @UPLB-LRC. Okay? So kindly use our official hashtag for this webinar series, which is #ResearchIsLife. Talagang ano natin yan, we'll enforce na research is life talaga para sa ating mga tututok sa webinar series na ito. At para mabilis din nating makita ang mga videos ng ating webinar series using that hashtag. Okay, so before we proceed to our session proper, we'll first have an energizer, our usual energizer. So para sa mga suki na ng aming webinars dito sa LRC, alam niyo na po ang drill, hindi na kailangan sabihin yan. So sa mga ngayon pa lamang po susubok nito, madali lamang po. So first, open a new browser or a new window. Then go to www.menti.com and kindly use the key code that you see on your screen, which is 28677159. So let me just put that in the comment section, or the link rather to the comment section. So we will be directed to our Mentimeter and kindly answer the question that you see on your screen. So for our energizer, we will be having 2 questions, okay? So allow me to share my screen for our energizer. Oops. So let me share my screen. Ayan. Okay. So the first question for our energizer is, what were your takeaways from the last session or our Tuesday session ng April 19 about the UPLB Research and Extension Agenda? So let me see the UPLB Agora. Insights about the UPLB Agora. So talagang si VC Nel Bantayan was able to share with us yung mga insights or yung mga mga key takeaways natin or yung mga information about yung ating recently launched na UPLB Agora, yung ating research and extension agenda dito sa UPLB. So talagang yun yung naging focus ng ating discussion last Tuesday. So para sa mga hindi naka-attend last Tuesday, you can always watch the recording and you can always refer to the website of the Office of the Vice Chancellor for Research and Extension to know more about the UPLB Agora. So there is more to learn about yung ating RNE agenda sa UPLB. So pabuti natin ng 50 responses. Yes, bet ko tong isang comment na your research is more than a requirement and there are many possible areas to focus for research. Okay? So let's proceed with our next question. So as mentioned, we'll be discussing about yung sustainable development goals and how our research should be aligned to at least one of these goals. So I know that you have encountered some of these goals, perhaps in your development management or development communication classes. So the question is, which among, or as a researcher, which among the 17 SDGs is your priority or your possible point of interest to study? So let's see ang ating mga response. So from 1 to 17, from no poverty to partnerships for the goals, ano ang ating mga focus or what are your focus sa ating SDGs? So para may idea din yung ating resource speaker sa ano ba yung mga focus natin na SDG. So from gender equality, quality education, yung ating sustainable cities and communities, climate action, number 13. So let's see yung ating mga responses. Ayan. So let's see. Quality education, gender equality. So ito yung malaki sa ating ano no, sa ating word cloud, climate action, good health and well-being. So talagang malaki ang ating quality education, gender equality and climate action. Kasi these really have a trickle down effect kasi sunod-sunod yung yan eh. If you address one SDG, all the rest will follow. So all the 17 goals must be put into focus. But at least we have an idea that kayo mga researchers, mga students, ang inyong focus or point of interest sa ating goals ay ang climate action, gender equality, and quality education. So hopefully, if in your research, through your research, we will be able to fully achieve these goals one step at a time, thanks to your contributions sa ating pool of knowledge. So malalaman natin paano ba natin magagamit ang research, ang pananaliksik, para makamit natin ang mga goals na ito para sa ating bayan at para sa ating mundo. So gender equality. I'm very happy that gender equality and quality education are your points of interest, especially for our students. Good health and clean water and sanitation, mental health, decent work, zero hunger, no poverty. So ayan. So try natin paabutin ng mga 95 or better yet, 90 na responses para makita natin kung ano ba, yung pa rin talagang majority sa ating word cloud. So, talagang malaki, no? Quality ed, climate action, and gender equality. Marami naglagay ng ibang numbers. Yan. So, good morning po sa mga tumututok sa atin ngayon sa ating Facebook Live. Shout out kay Tita Emily Espiritu from the University Library. All right, last one. Yan, okay. So thank you very much to those who participated in our short energizer. So we will be able to further appreciate more ano nga ba itong ating mga SDGs na dapat nating pagtuunan ng pansin at bigyan ng focus when it comes to thinking about our research topic. Kasi nga, as from our last session, our research should be purposive or should have a goal that it must meet in conducting that research. Okay, so thank you very much sa mga nag-participate sa ating Energizer. So, before we proceed, allow me to show you yung ating, as I've mentioned last Tuesday, we'll be launching aming hashtag #ThesisIt. So, allow to share our screen. Ayan. So, yung aming #ThesisIt is a series of photos or social media cards that we will be posting every Wednesday, starting yesterday. Then we will be featuring yung some of the best undergraduate thesis ng UPLB. So, we asked our awardees to share with us some snippets of or bits of information about their studies or their best thesis and yung kanilang results, significance, and yung mga tips nila as researchers sa ating mga students. So our first post yesterday was from Ms. Harleen Viesca from BS DevCom. So she was awarded the best thesis in 2020, if I'm not mistaken. So her topic is about predictors, mediators, and moderators affecting the societal risk perception on antibiotic resistance and the intention to avoid parental self-medication of barangay health workers or BHWs in the city of General Trias, Cavite here in the Philippines. So if you want to read more about her graduate thesis, check out our social media posts, which is available in our Facebook page or Instagram account. Okay? So let me read one of her tips na shinare niya sa atin. So a tip that she shared for students pursuing this type of research is, or research in general, is, I think itong isa sa pinakamahalaga, no? Take breaks so you won't feel overwhelmed. So always make a pause in doing your research. You don't need to finish your research ng isang upuan. It must be done step by step. Especially ito, I like this tip from her. Don't be shy to discuss with your advisor and statistician if you have questions or concerns. So consultation is very important in your research, especially with your advisor and those involved in your study. And itong last minute tip, always be respectful when you visit the community and your respondents. So I think magandang prelude ito when it comes to our sixth session, if I'm not mistaken, which is about research ethics. So tutukan lang natin yun. Okay, so thank you very much, Ms. Viesca, for sharing with us your thesis topic. Okay, so let's now go to the main part of our session. Hindi natin papatagalin pa. So allow me to introduce to you our speaker. Dr. Evelie P. Serrano is an associate professor and the current director of the Institute for Governance and Rural Development of the College of Public Affairs and Development here in the University of the Philippines, Los Baños. She is a full-fledged UPLB alumna, having finished BS Development Communication, major in Science Communication, Master of Public Affairs, major in Education Management, and PhD in Extension Education, all here in UP Los Baños. As an educator, she has handled undergraduate and graduate courses in communication, education, and extension. She has also developed and facilitated a number of training workshops and other learning sessions related to education, extension, research, and technical writing. Dr. Serrano has authored and co-authored journal articles on education, extension, and development, and has received the Best Paper Awards in international and national academic conferences. She is a recipient of the 2019 to 2021 One UP Faculty Grant Award for Outstanding Teaching and Public Service. Ladies and gentlemen, here to share with us the social relevance of research, please welcome to the Zoom space our speaker for this morning, Dr. Evelie P. Serrano. Good morning, Doc Evelie.
Yes, good morning. Good morning, Josh. Thank you for that kind introduction. And also thank you to LRC for this, for the invitation, for the opportunity, okay, to speak about the social relevance, okay, of research. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Evelie. Now have the floor, po. Thank you.
Thank you. So let me share my screen. Okay. All right. Here we go. Okay, so again, I'm Evelie Serrano from the College of Public Affairs and Development, and I'll be talking about doing research with social relevance. Now, before we proceed to my presentation, so we'll have another, what's this, Mentimeter activity. Okay, so, and you have to answer the question, so why do we conduct, okay, research? So yeah, go again to www.menti.com and use the code 1799-1562. So to our participants, so once again, please go to www.menti.com and use the code 1799-1562 and answer the question, why do we conduct research? So let me just stop share and share my other screen. So we have a few responses here already. So let me just share. So let's give the others a few more minutes, okay, to type their answers. maybe a minute or two. All right, so far we have 27, okay, 28 responses. All right, so let's go through some of the responses here. Okay, so one said to answer the booming problems of the society. Wow, that's so profound. Okay, and then to better the Filipinos' lives, to benefit the people in the community. All right, so we have a lot of responses here now. To create new technologies, okay, that will make society better. So we have here to discover new knowledge. So let me just browse through these responses. Okay, to help solve or address societal problems. I think there is something common, no, among the answers. There seems to be, no, a greater purpose, okay, to research, okay. Yeah, so to address problems, right? And of course, we want to improve lives, okay. So for a better life. This one, we conduct research in pursuit for knowledge, for facts, or the actual reality, which may not be obvious to the general public. Okay. So out of our curiosity, interest, right? We pursue research. Yes, to progress the community. All right. So to uplift the lives of people. Find solutions to social needs. For academic purposes, especially if you are undergraduate students, right? It's a major requirement for you to complete your degree, okay? So we have to pursue, we're forced to pursue research. And through that process, of course, we gain new knowledge, as mentioned here. To make a change, yes, we have a lot of responses. Thank you very much. And then change is the only constant thing in this world. In order for us to adapt to these changes, we must be open to accepting new innovations and ways in how we deal with life. And that's how research comes into the picture. Very well said. Okay, so it's beneficial to everyone. What else do we have here? Okay, so to pursue your interests, yes, it can be something personal, okay, to learn something new, to hone your problem solving skills. So all in all, right, to improve yourself, okay, as a student, okay, and generally as a person, as an individual, okay, for us to create new knowledge, for us to learn. Yeah, so we have to gather information, to identify the areas of darkness or research gap in the previous studies. So as we can see here, and no, there are a lot of reasons. Okay, we conduct research. So the reasons can range from something personal, okay, to something that is of relevance to others. Okay, so uplifting lives, improving lives. Okay, may no, as mentioned kanina, research is purposive, so there is a goal, and the goal can be something personal for your improvement, okay, for you to learn more. And then as we can see, okay, dito sa mga responses, okay, the reason can be nga something of greater, okay, purpose, okay, or meaning. Okay, so to uplift lives, to improve lives, okay, ayan. So something we want to be of service, diba? We want to do something that has relevance, okay, and that is why we conduct research. So ang dami no, ang dami-daming reasons, okay, which leads us, diba, to the importance, okay, of research. So let me stop share, but you can continue sharing your responses if you would like. Okay, and then let me go back to my slides. Okay, so let me share again my screen. All right, here we go. Okay. So yes, so as we've learned, there are a lot of reasons, okay, why we do research. Again, as I have said, can be something personal, okay, it can be something of, greater meaning or purpose, okay, we would want to uplift lives, as mentioned earlier, etc. Okay, so there really is no something bigger, okay, when we do research. So research, as we would learn, okay, can have, okay, greater significance. It can have societal, okay, relevance. And so for this morning, so I'll be covering, okay, the following topics, which would hopefully emphasize or highlight, okay, the social relevance, okay, of research. So I'll be starting with the development implications of research, and then we'll touch on the the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and the possible entry points of research. Okay, I'll talk a bit on that, and then we'll talk about the social relevance, okay, of research, and I'll be sharing with you my student research story, okay, just to emphasize how research can also contribute, okay, to how research can contribute to social to improvement, okay, societal improvement, okay, or even community, okay, development. And lastly, I'll talk about my reflections and lessons learned. And there's also a video that I'll be sharing wherein one of our former students, okay, will share with us how research has contributed, okay, to his research locale, and how research has enriched him, okay, as a person. Okay, so all in all, this would be the topics, okay, that I will be covering, okay, for this morning. So let's start with the development implications of research. So as we know, research, okay, is a critical ingredient of development. So without research, um, development will be baseless. Okay, so research, as noted here, is paramount for meaningful, okay, development. So it may be impossible, okay, to have development unless, right, there is a search for knowledge and skills, okay, for new ideas and means of establishing gaps. I think this was mentioned earlier in one of the responses. Okay, so through research, right, we get to answer, okay, these research gaps, address, different issues, challenges, okay, in society. So with research, okay, without research, that is, it would be difficult, right, for us to really achieve, okay, development. Okay, so with that, okay, so it's important, right, um, that we exert, okay, effort, all right, to conduct research and to do research, okay, right. So research and development, so having said that, research and development are inseparable, so we cannot really, separate research, okay, from development, and vice versa. So if there is no proper research, probably proper development will not be in place. Okay, so posible, no, now we won't be able to establish, okay, real development. So without, okay, research, or maybe, diba, it would be impossible for us to implement properly, okay, all these, efforts, okay, towards achieving, okay, development. So research, as mentioned here, enables policymakers, okay, to determine the right kind of policy to formulate and to implement, okay, for development planning. And so with that, we cannot really separate research, okay, from development. It would be difficult for us to pursue development without research, because we make use of our research findings as basis, no, for these the different policies, okay, that we create, and also the different interventions, okay, that we craft, okay, to address, okay, this many issues, okay, that we have in our society. Okay, so research and development, okay, they go hand in hand. They are, okay, inseparable. So in the context, okay, of development work, research is used, okay, to explore an issue, right, in order for us to plan a program. So it may more broadly, okay, ask people in an area about their own needs, okay, or it may aim to collect in-depth, okay, information about a specific issue, okay, which we can use, okay, to make a case for change or improvement, okay. So, ganun ka-importante, no, ang research sa development work. Okay? And research, okay, is important to ensure that development programs, all these development programs are appropriate, right, to the needs, okay, of maybe the community, okay, or the people. All right. So we make use of research to ensure that yung mga development programs natin are appropriate and that they are really targeted towards addressing, no, the needs of people and the community. So which brings us now, okay, to the sustainable, okay, development goals. All right. So I think most of us, many of us are already familiar, okay, with the sustainable development goals. We have been working, okay, towards achieving this 17, okay, sustainable development goals, right? For many years now. And actually, ilang years na lang tayo away from 2030. Okay, so wherein we are expected to have, achieved, okay, these sustainable development goals. So, but for those who are not that familiar yet, okay, with the sustainable development goals, so the SDGs, okay, or the sustainable development goals, also known as the global goals, were adopted by the United Nations in 2015 as a universal call to action to end poverty, okay, protect the planet, and ensure that by 2030, okay, all of us, okay, enjoy peace and prosperity. Okay, so that would be 8 years from now. So the target is by then, okay, 2030, all of us, all people, okay, should be enjoying peace and prosperity. Okay, so this 17 SDGs are integrated. So meaning they recognize, okay, that action in one area, okay, will affect outcomes in others. So interrelated din, no, yung itong mga 17 SDGs natin. And that development must balance, okay, it acknowledges that development must balance social, okay, economic, and environmental sustainability. So what is the relevance now of research, okay, to the SDGs? Okay, so how do we factor in, okay, research, okay, to the Sustainable Development Goals? So research, okay, will provide the basis for the development of plans and even programs to help achieve, okay, our SDG targets. Okay, kailangan natin yung research, no, as a basis for our plans, our programs, our interventions, the different interventions to help us achieve the SDG targets. So now the question is, can your student research contribute to this? Okay, parang minsan kasi isipin natin, ganun ba ka-grand yung research ko para masabi na it can contribute, okay, to the SDGs. Now, no matter how simple your research is, okay, in my opinion, okay, however small that is, it can contribute, okay, to achieving the SDG targets. Because itong mga SDG targets na to, these targets, okay, require collaborative action, okay? So lahat tayo should work together. And kayo, as students, this can be, okay, your contribution to achieving the SDG targets, okay? And so, going back to the question, can your student research contribute? Yes, it's a resounding yes. Yes, it can, okay, contribute to the achievement of SDGs. So as we've said, research findings, okay, can be used, no, as basis for plans, okay, the development of plans, the crafting of, programs, interventions to help achieve, okay, these different SDG targets. Okay, so these are the questions then that you would have to ask. Okay, so paano natin ngayon ma-align, okay, yung research natin? Or maybe right now, wala pa kayong, some of you, most probably, wala pang naiisip, no, na research topic or problem, especially if you have just started, okay, sa university. So these are some questions that could guide you, no? So one, what are the issues and challenges, okay, in the different SDGs? So we have to research about this. We have to learn more about this. So this would entail, no, familiarizing ourselves, okay, with the different SDGs. So ano ba yung mga SDGs ulit na ito? Okay, so kailangan nating pag-aralan, okay, alamin kung ano yung mga SDGs, and then what are the issues? Ano yung mga challenges, okay, that hinder us from achieving, okay, these SDGs. And then next, what are the research gaps? Okay, so now that we are familiar, okay, yung progress natin sa pag-achieve ng mga SDGs, next is you can identify, no, what are the research gaps? Ano yung mga research gaps na pwede kong which could lead me, okay, to the topic that I would be pursuing. Okay, and after identifying, okay, these research gaps, okay, you can think about now the research, okay, that you can pursue. Okay, so considering that these are the research gaps, what research, okay, can I pursue? Given that this is my major, given that this is my specialization, diba? And these are the research gaps. Ano kaya yung posible kong research, okay, na pwedeng gawin? Okay, so you can ask yourself that. And then, what will be, okay, the significance, okay, of my research? Okay, so now that, let's say, for example, you have identified a possible, okay, research topic. Okay, so you ask yourself, kasi nga, as noted earlier, diba, research is purposive. In research, you have a goal. Okay, so it has to be clear to you, right? So what you're working for. So what will be the significance of my research? What will be its relevance vis-a-vis, okay, the SDGs? All right. And so you ask yourself, how will my research, okay, contribute to alleviating poverty, to ending hunger, to ensuring good health, okay, to providing quality education, to promoting gender equality. Okay, so this would entail now, okay, revisiting, okay, the different SDGs, right? So yeah, so ito yung mga SDGs, saan kaya ako pwede pumasok? Now, let's say, for example, you're an education major. All right. So, ano kaya yung mga pwede kong gawin, di ba? So maybe, no, you can explore different teaching strategies, pedagogies. Okay, find ways on how we can improve the delivery, the delivery of teaching and learning, given this setup that we have right now. That would contribute to quality education. It's simple, right? But in your own small way, diba? You're contributing to the achievement, okay, of quality education. Now, let's say, for example, you're an agriculture major, you're an agri student, diba? So, saan kaya ako dito sa SDGs na to pwede? Okay, saan ako makakatulong dito? Okay, so maybe, no, you can explore, okay, ways on how you can contribute to alleviating hunger. So, what innovations kaya can you help develop, diba? Or ano yung mga technologies, okay, na pwedeng ma-develop or ma-improve, okay, to help address this issue, diba? If you're an engineering student, diba? So how can you contribute kaya to climate action? So what innovations, diba, ang pwede nating ma-develop, diba, ma-propose? Okay, so think about it, diba? So kung titingnan natin ng husto, okay, pag-aaralan natin to, meron kang lugar, okay? Meron kang lugar sa SDGs, diba? So there is something here, diba, na you can contribute to, no matter how small, okay, your research is. Okay, so again, okay, learn more about the SDGs, find out what are the issues and the challenges, okay, and then yeah, identify, okay, the research gaps, okay, and then that could help you, okay, determine, no, the topics that you can pursue for your research na that would have social or societal relevance, okay. So which leads us now, okay, to the next topic, which is the social relevance, okay, of research. So in the context of development research, societal relevance, okay, can be defined as the degree to which research contributes to and creates an understanding of the development of societal sectors and practice, so such as industry, education, policy making, healthcare, and the goals they aim, okay, to achieve, and to resolving problems and issues as well, such as, you know, climate change and social cohesion. Okay, so that is societal relevance. So in a nutshell, diba, we say that that research has social relevance if, okay, it has contributed, no, to the improvement, okay, of society in general. Okay, so these are now the questions to ask. Okay, to find out, okay, if a research, okay, has societal, okay, relevance. Okay, so one is, what substantive results did the research yield that could be of importance to society? Now, these are the very same questions, no, that you can ask later on, okay, while you are pursuing your research. And then, how has the knowledge been disseminated among societal stakeholders? What evidence is there of interest and appreciation on the part of societal stakeholders? Because yeah, in terms of, you know, you work with people, okay, you work with your research participants, okay, you hear their stories, okay, you work with your respondents, okay, and then, oops, sorry, what effects, okay, have the research results had? Now, impact, of course, cannot be measured immediately, right? But it helps, no, to keep in mind, okay, the possible effects or impact, okay, of research. So to establish that really itong research na to has, you know, contributed, okay, to development. It has societal, okay, impact. So these are, you know, some guide questions, okay, that you can revisit later on. Now, let me share, okay, my student, okay, research story. So um I'll be sharing, no, the most recent one that I did, okay, which is not so recent because it was over a decade ago, 10 years ago, when I did my PhD research. So my research, okay, focused on the co-optation or the merging of indigenous and modern farming practices in a indigenous cultural, okay, community. So the output, okay, so which um, highlights, okay, the need, diba, for research to be purposive. The output of this research is was an extension framework appropriate for that indigenous, okay, cultural community. Okay, so yeah, I went to the field. Okay, I immersed myself, okay, dun sa community na yun. Okay, and it was a qualitative research, no, qualitative research study, and I really immersed myself dun sa community. I live there. Okay, it's a medyo remote din, no, yung area, so a farming area. And then you can see here it's the mountainous part of the research locale. So most of the farmers there were rice and corn farmers. Okay, and some, of course, syempre multi-cropping ang ano rin nila, no? But major crops, okay, were rice and corn. Now, yeah, so there I observed, okay, how they farmed, okay, and yung mga practices nila, both the local, okay, the indigenous, and also the modern, okay, farming practices that were um, taught to them, okay, by the extension workers, okay, and the other extension service what's this, delivery providers in the area. And so I learned their stories, okay, nakita ko yung plight, okay, ng mga farmers doon. And yeah, I was able to observe how things were done. It was really an enriching experience for me. Okay, di ba sabi nga kanina, one of the reasons why we do research, di ba, is we want to minsan address our yung curiosity, we want to learn more. So through that particular research, na-achieve ko yun, no? I was able to learn more. And at the same time, it enriched me as a person because, di ba, parang napalawak ng husto, okay, yung pananaw ko, okay, and even the way I see things, the way I view things, okay, so, ano pala, no, like, I've learned from my research that because before we're used to pag sa extension for example, no, so we're used to the top down approach, diba? So the scientific way is always the best way because it's scientific. But then later on, yun nga, through this research, I realized, diba, that these farmers, these local farmers, are also carriers of their own significant knowledge. And they were able to survive, they were able to thrive with their local language, so with their local knowledge, that is. And so um, it made me realize that these farmers, these indigenous farmers, can also be partners, okay, in the creation of knowledge, okay, and yeah, they're significant carriers, okay, of knowledge, and they can be partners, therefore, okay, in extension service delivery. Okay, so um, it was an eye opener for me, in other words. Okay, so on that aspect, okay, feel ko na enrich ako as a person, and then also as an extension specialist, okay, an extension scholar, okay, and yeah, so here ito yung ilan sa aking mga research participants. Okay, so yeah, and so I've learned about their, yung stories. They told me how ano yung how they farm yung mga traditional, farming practices nila. They shared with me, no, ano yung mga paniniwala nila, their beliefs. Okay, and they were really generous also with sharing what they know. Okay, so again, as I have said, it was really an eye opener and enriching experience. And also, I was exposed, no, to the challenges sa mga communities, no, for extension workers. Imagine the roads that they had to, yung mga roads that yan, yung mga ganyang klaseng mga roads, no. So it was really difficult to transport yung mga goods nila. So sa town, okay, and yeah, they had very little resources, okay. And yeah, it was an eye opener for me. Nakita ko yung mga challenges, yung mga issues in the field na otherwise I would not have known, 'di ba? If hindi ako nag-immerse, okay, dun sa community. Okay, if I didn't do this research, I would not have really I would not have really understood, okay, the plight of the marginalized, okay, farmers, and also the indigenous peoples. Okay, so yeah, and also while I was exposed to the challenges, I was also exposed din sa kanilang mga triumphs, yung mga little wins nila. Because even if they had very little resources, okay, because of their values, because of hard work, because of diligence, okay, still, no, they're able to thrive. Okay, so say for example, this one, um, si Aling Nene, I can still remember her name. So imagine a very small woman, pero siya ang nagtanim niyan lahat. Okay, so siya yung nagbungkal ng lupa and all that. So that's how empowered women there are, how empowered and how hardworking yung mga babae doon. Okay, so they also played a significant role, no, sa agriculture in their area. So yes, as I've said, all in all, it was an enriching experience. And through the stories, through my experience, so I was able to develop an extension framework that is more suited or suitable, appropriate, okay, to that indigenous cultural community. Because yeah, the thing is, pag sa atin kasi, parang meron ng, ano even, yeah, we recognize that there's no one size fits all approach, okay, to extension, for example. But then, still very much top down pa rin, top down yung ano yung extension service delivery, particularly in their area. So through this particular research, so I was able to develop that extension framework that can be a basis in delivering extension services, okay, in their community, okay, or in communities that have, you know, similar context, okay. So yeah, so I think that was, no, the contribution of my study. So um, and the fact that it has enriched me as a person, okay, ano na siya eh, parang yung relevance niya dun pa lang, no, it's already relevant because someone was improved the way that person thinks, the way I think, di ba? Nabago yun eh. So I think my study therefore was yung significance niya ay nagsimula sa akin, di ba? So I realized thinking about it, sabi ko yung social relevance ng research really starts with the researcher. If there is a change on how you perceive things, diba? If there is an improvement on how you view things and how you do things, then that means, diba, your research is something of significance, something relevant because a researcher pala meron ng transformation. And then, as I have said, okay, so I was able to develop that, recommend, okay, that extension framework. So that could be used, okay, by extension workers. So that's another contribution. But more than anything else, it's the enlightenment, okay, of the researcher. Okay, so yeah, I think with that, no, I can claim that somehow naging socially relevant, okay, yung research na ginawa ko. Okay, so yeah, so reflecting on these experiences, okay, yeah, as I've realized, no, that research really matters. Okay, there's much that we can learn from research, and there's much that we can create, okay, through research. Okay, so, diba? So innovations, you know, simple policy recommendations. We think that they're simple, but these policies, okay, these policy recommendations can change things, can improve lives. Diba? So they can our research findings, therefore, our research findings, our research recommendations, diba? They can contribute. Okay, so your research matters. So you have to make it count. Diba? Gagawa ka na rin lang ng research, diba? Might as well do something that is significant, something that has meaning. Okay, so your research matters, make it count. And then, yeah, based on my experience, as I have said earlier, as I have shared earlier, the social relevance of research starts with you, okay, with the researcher. You have to be open to learning more, diba? So as a researcher, so you have to really open your eyes, okay? When you go there, when you go out there sa field, diba? So yung mga biases natin, kailangan natin ibulsa muna yon, diba? We have to be really objective. We have to be open, okay, to learning, okay, from the experience. Okay, so the social relevance of research for me, okay, starts, okay, with the researcher. And I've also realized this is one major realization after doing the research. Research results, okay, that are research results not shared is research wasted. Okay, so I believe that yung kung ano man yung mga research findings natin, we have to share them. It's really good that right now, no, ang daming opportunities, daming mga conferences, local and national, you know, conferences where we can share our research findings. So make the most of these opportunities, no, to share your research so that others can also learn, diba, from what you have learned, okay, sa research na pinursue ninyo. So I was very fortunate that my advisory committee um, was very supportive. Talagang pag may mga opportunity, no, to present the paper or to submit it sa isang conference. So yeah, they um what's this, encourage us, no? They encourage us to submit our paper sa mga conferences. So that was the start, 'di ba? So at least do sa mga conferences na yun na share mo, 'di ba? So yeah, I really made it a point, okay, to share sa mga conferences, okay, yung different components of my study. And yeah, so here these are just a few photo documentation. And then I was fortunate enough to have my research recognized, okay, as a outstanding research paper in this national symposium. And I think yeah, so it was really, I consider that a blessing, because when I presented it, okay, in the plenary, um, most, if not all, of the participants were extension workers. And so, natuwa ko kasi nabigyan ako ng pagkakataon, no, to share my research findings to extension workers so that they can see, no, that there are other ways by which we can facilitate extension pala. Okay, that extension, that there's much that we can benefit from participatory extension, and that there is also much that we can learn pala, okay, from our indigenous farmers. And so yeah, that's why I believe na yung research natin, research findings natin, in one way or the other should be, shared with others. May it be through a journal article, through a presentation. So dapat, or maybe you can even popularize it, diba? Write about it in a magazine, okay, or a newsletter of your organization or institution. So share, okay, your research findings, because kahit gaano, so when you start your research, you know na this is a social relevance. But unless you share it, 'di ba? Nasa ng relevance doon. It's socially relevant, but who is benefiting from it, 'di ba? So you have to share it, okay? Share your research, okay, with others. Now, at this point, let me share with you the story, okay, of one of our PhD students, okay, a former PhD student. So now Dr. Okay, Ernesto Bastida Jr. So he worked on his dissertation was entitled "Developing a Rights-Based Indigenous Peoples Education Curriculum in Agusan del Sur, Philippines." So it's a convergent parallel mixed methods study. So I was able to ask Dr. Bastida to share with us, okay, his experience in the field and how his research has contributed, okay, to the community, okay, that he worked with. And then more than that, he'll be sharing with us how his research, okay, was able to enrich him as a person, okay, as an individual. So let's listen to this short video clip, okay, from Dr. Bastida. So, by the way, here are a few photos that I was able to grab from his Facebook. Okay, so he, similar to me, he immersed himself dun sa community. He worked with the community, and all in all, it was also a life enriching, okay, experience for him. I remember during his final defense, he shared with us, no, how the research that he did changed, okay, the way he viewed things, and it really parang ignited, okay, yung kanyang passion, okay, to be of service, okay, to others, right? So here are a few photos, and here's the short video clip, okay, that I would like to share with you.
Hello everyone, I'm Ernesto Bastida, a recent PhD in Development Studies graduate from the College of Public Affairs and Development. Well, living up to our mantra as a scholar ng bayan who selflessly dedicate every action for public service, I chose a research venture that can further amplify the voices of the marginalized and disadvantaged groups. As for my chosen field of research interests, I conducted study about improving the educational system of indigenous peoples, especially in the case of Higaonon communities in Agusan del Sur, through my rights-based approach in curriculum development. Guided by my advisory committee, I have found out that Indigenous people still face multiple barriers to achieving quality education. In fact, many of them still encounter discrimination from majority groups who reinforce stereotypes about them as being backward, ignorant, and uncivilized. Despite the effort from the DepEd, the present curriculum used for teaching IPs only made them socially integrated, but not socially included. And to address this long overdue problem of inferiority, we propose the incorporation of four bundles of rights enshrined in IPRA law to enrich the present educational landscape of the indigenous community toward empowerment. And that rights-based curriculum is expected to bring out educational equity for increasing participation and inclusion, leading to empowerment. When I conducted my study, I did not just do interviews and survey to collect data. In fact, I stayed and immersed myself in the community for 6 months just to understand their life ways, day-to-day living, and long-term needs. Normally, when you go to the field work, you only have one problem in mind that you want to venture into. But once you are already in the field, you will take notice the multidimensionality of the problem you have in mind. And that makes the research journey more exciting and more fulfilling in a way. Until now, once in a while, I go back to the community for the realization of my research output. And I think research with social relevance is a long-term commitment and really makes me a genuine advocate for the cause that I believe in. Also, doing research just like the one that I did does not only give me my doctorate diploma, but strengthens my personal relationship, social relationship with other people. I gain new friends and family, which is beneficial since I am truly serious with my advocacy. Lastly, conducting research with social relevance makes me a true enabler of positive transformation that I really aspire for my community.
Yeah, thank you very much to
Hello,
Eston.
everyone.
Okay, for sharing his story. So I hope that like Dr. Bastido or Estong as we call him, you will be able to pursue something that interests you. Okay, something meaningful. And I hope you will be able to work on something that can in one way or the other contribute to sustainable development, something that can spark change within you and around you. So before we end, so let's go to Mentimeter again. Okay, so please go to www.menti.com and use the code 29821679. So what are your key takeaways so far from this session? So again, go to www.menti.com and use the code 29821679. So let me stop share muna and then I'll go to the slide, uh, to the screen, Mentimeter screen. All right. So far we already have how many responses do we have? 20 responses. So let's hear from, I hope to hear from the others as well. So to wrap up our discussion, so let's see. Okay. what your key takeaways are so far, okay, from this session. Okay, so 30 responses. Thank you very much. All right, so let's go through, okay, your responses. All right, so yes, research results, okay, not shared is research wasted. Okay, advocacy-based research and bottom-up approach. Yeah, the social relevance of research. So I hope through this presentation, right, so we were able to um, realize, no, how relevant research is, how significant research is, not just to us as an individual, but more so, right, to the greater community. Okay, and then research with social relevance not only benefits a specific community, but also the researcher. Yes, I can really attest to this. And we have to be, yes, I agree also, be an enabler, okay, with your research. Okay, there's something, no, that we can really contribute through our research. No, there's something that we can contribute somehow, okay, to development, community to development, and ultimately to sustainable development. Okay, applying the concepts from your talk. Every research is important and can contribute, okay, to the development that we are all dreaming of. Yes, no matter how, small, okay, there is something that your research can contribute. Okay, so make it count. Okay, and then research conducted should be purposeful and relevant to the needs of others. Yes, that's very true. Very well said. And social research, okay, helps the community. And even scientific research in many ways can, okay, help the community. So yung mga, diba, of course, yung mga, if you're sa agriculture, for example, or even genetics, diba? So yung mga um, varieties, okay, that would help farmers produce more, or help farmers have crops that could withstand typhoons and all that. Diba? It's through scientific research that we're able to produce, no, such innovations, okay, such varieties of crops. Okay, so there really is a lot, diba, that we can benefit, okay, from research. Then what else? Research is indeed a helpful tool to alleviate critical social issues, yes, such as poverty, education, etc. And you owe it to yourself and to your community who nurtured you. Yes, this is very true. Yeah, I love how you said it, no? So it's, you owe it to yourself and to your community who nurtured you to give back, okay, through your research. So it's a way, 'di ba, for us. Lalo na tayo, no, yung mga mga scholar ng bayan para sa bayan, okay, who are with us, okay, in this session, 'di ba? This is our opportunity to give back. Okay, so syempre it's the people, okay, the taxes, okay, of the people who are making it possible for us, diba, to access, okay, quality education. So through our research, hopefully, no, we can give back. Okay, so what else? Research is holistic venture. Okay, yes, no, talagang ano siya, no. Else, importance of community immersion. Okay, so tama. We really have to be out there. And but of course, lalo na sa panahon ngayon, no, it may be impossible for us to do that, but there are other ways, 'di ba, by which we can learn issues din na ito. Okay, but hopefully in time it would be possible for us na rin, no, to go back to the community, to really immerse ourselves, no, in the community when we do development research. So what else? Research is an essential tool and one that seeks to empower and enrich life. Yeah, not just our lives, diba? Not just my life, but also the lives of others, diba? What else? Conducting research is not just to add something to the body of knowledge, but also to improve the lives of people in society. Yes, no. So it resonates yung ano kanina, it reflects kung ano yung mga reasons natin kanina for doing research, 'di ba? It validates yung need for us to do research. So it adds to the body of knowledge, and at the same time, 'di ba, research has the ability, 'di ba, to help improve, okay, lives of people and communities in general. What else? There's so many. So thank you very much for your responses. Okay, so let's see what the others have said. Research alleviates poverty. Okay, so it helps us understand the real situation. Yeah, it's an eye opener. So from my experience, it was really an eye opener for me. So I must admit that most of my life, of course, syempre, naging comfortable naman ang buhay. So had I not had that experience, no, yung research experience na yon, so it would not have really exposed me to the plight of the farmers. It's different when you read about it and when you're there, okay, in the field. Okay, so research is purposive, so there should be a goal. Yes, we need to keep reminding ourselves of this, diba? So when we do our research, diba, there has to be a goal, and that goal, diba, would hopefully that goal would motivate us, diba, to continue working on our research. There is something that we want to achieve, not just for ourselves, but also for others. And I hope that would be enough motivation for us to complete, okay, our research. Yeah, so we conduct research for various reasons, but the end goal should be for the improvement of ourselves and our society. Okay, so yeah, very good. Yeah, so there's still a lot here, so I will just have to, choose a few more. So research is important, not just for our everyday lives, but also for the future, the next generations. Yeah, I agree also with that. Research is enlightening for the researcher because it allows us to open our eyes to the realities. Yes, that is true. And it should be internalized, okay, to better grasp, okay, the thesis that you want to develop through. You also have to be really critical. You really have to immerse yourself into the research process. Okay. Yeah. So it's a one step towards innovation. And of course, what we can achieve, no, with all of these innovations. Okay. So it is through these innovations that we can address the different SDGs, achieve, no, the different SDGs, the SDG targets. So research has an impact on the researcher's life, and to immerse and to see the problem and be part of the solution. Yan. So all in all, no, we can see it's very clear to all of us that research has a social relevance. Okay, and it's up to us, diba, the researcher, to make it possible. Okay. And so let me stop share. So again, thank you for everyone who shared their responses. It's nice to know, okay, what you would be taking home with you, okay, after this session. So let me stop share and let me go back to my slides. Okay. All right. Okay, so all in all, okay, so we learned, no, today, so we were able to discuss the social relevance, okay, of research. So all in all, so to end this presentation, so I would like to remind you, okay, that through research, okay, so we can make a difference, okay, through research, as we have learned today, so we can help improve lives and communities. Through research, we can also contribute, okay, to sustainable development and to nation building. And hence, from mga iskolar ng bayan, okay, so we now play a greater role as mga iskolar ng bayan para sa bayan. So thank you very much, okay, for your active participation in today's lecture, and I am now ready, okay, to answer your questions.
Thank you very much, Dr. Evelie Serrano. So everyone, let's give a virtual round of applause to our speaker this morning, Dr. Serrano. So Ma'am Evelie, talagang ano pa, no? Madami pong naging, I think this session is more on a reflective session for our participants this morning. Marami pa tayong naging nakuhang takeaways from our from our participants. Before I proceed pala po, I have to give a shout out po to Sir John Vincent Bucal. I think is a colleague po of yours, Ma'am Evelie from CPAF. So he's also one of our active followers and supporters po of LRC. So thank you po, Sir John Vincent. So ma'am, I'll just read some of the comments from our Facebook Live. So according to Jefferson Agaloos, he says that how I wish that my working dissertation with the same degree and major has social relevance. Such a relevant discussion about SDGs. So siguro ma'am, marami pong na-inspire, especially po dun sa sharing nyo po ng inyong experience sa community. Sabi naman po ni Dan Cabantog, excited to apply the concepts learned for our case study. Really, a master in research. Thank you, Dr. Evelie. So thank you, Sir Dan.
For the kind words.
And then we have insights din po, ma'am, from we have here from Christian Ray Balmori. He says that research enhances individuals' critical reasoning and analytical thinking, and it allows people to discover the unknown. So talaga nga namang kagaya yung kanta ni Elsa, into the unknown. So through research, malalaman natin kung ano yung unknown na iyon. And we have another comment from Larry Villanueva. He says that research improves individual understanding of the current situation. So the gathered data on certain research expands better understanding of what is really going on, an advancement of a certain development. So I agree, Doc Evelie, dun po sa sinabi niyo po kanina, no, yung iba yung research kapag sa literature mo lang binase siya, no, yung binasa mo lang siya, pero it's a totally different experience if you get to live with your research topic po. In your case po yung sa community. And it's po talaga, it's a noble act po for our research if it helps, that it should help a given community or stakeholder, na hindi lang siya titigil sa research requirement lang, pero may natulungan kang mga grupo ng tao, isang community or a particular stakeholders with the findings of your research. Kaya nga naman po, di ba, yung na-mention nyo po na research not shared or yung results niya na hindi share ay wasted or dito, parang walang katuturan yung research kung hindi mo share yung natuklasan mo sa iyong research. So, thank you very much po, ma'am. So, madami pong nagpapasalamat po sa ating Facebook Live. I think many had yung were able to reflect nga po on bakit nga ba ginagawa itong research. So hopefully po na after this session, marami na pong dito po, marami nang hindi tinitingnan ang research bilang isang requirement lamang, ngunit isang responsibility, especially sa atin, Doc Evelie po, sa university, na talaga namang ang ating mga pinag-aaralan ay dapat ay makatulong sa ating bayan.
Yes.
So, ayun. Doc Evelie, we have a question here from Kat Olivar. I think, yung question niya po is, pwede po kami mag-connect kay Dr. Evelie through email, any social media. I think gusto po atang magpa-consultation, Doc Evelie.
Yeah, sure. I'll type it I forgot to include my email address
Sige po, Doc
Evelie.
Evelie.
Here yeah. Yeah, you can share na lang dun sa kanila.
Sige, type po natin. So, ang email po ni Doc Evelie is EP Serrano. Tingin ko madami po, Doc Evelie, mag-immersion na rin.
Naku, bawal pa ata.
Yun nga po, I think there are still restrictions po with regards po sa pag-conduct ng mga interviews, mga pero
updated guidelines. So abang-abang na lang tayo. I think very soon it will be possible na rin for us to go back to the field and really experience. Okay.
Yes po, Doc Evelie. Actually, I have a handful of colleagues po dito sa university na when the pandemic struck, they really had to redefine their methodology and their research in general, kasi po may nga po tayo dito, may restrictions due to the pandemic. But hopefully po due to dahil umababa na pong alert level natin, hopefully cases are decreasing. we can go back to the community for our for our research. We have a question po, Doc Evelie, again from, so doon po sa mga gusto po mag-connect kay Dr. Evelie Serrano, the email of our speaker is in the comment section right now. Ito po, Doc, may mga questions na po tayo. So our first question is from Aldi David. Hello po, I would like to ask po if matagal po ba yung process ng ethical permit if indigenous people ang subject po ng research study? Any thoughts on this, Doc Evelie? Parang mga permits po ata when it comes to ano.
NCIP, for example. I'm sorry ha, medyo nag-unstable yung internet ko, but
Yes,
I hope
madam.
you can still hear me.
Yeah,
So,
it's okay po.
Months ahead, no, you have to apply. So, in my case kasi before, so it was easier kasi medyo mas maluwag pa sila that time eh. But then I know right now, so mas mahigpit na. So if ever na you plan to do a similar research, so you really have to apply in advance. It takes months, I know. So, yeah, medyo matagal ang processing ng mga permits.
Thank you, Doc Evelie. So, and I think pagdating po dito sa university po, no, we observe din yung yung research ethics guidelines when it comes to.
Yes, I know. Parang I think there's a separate lecture
Yes
on
po.
that.
That would be our sixth session po on research ethics. So talagang
yeah, so I think it's
magkakadikit po yung
something that
ating
we should
sessions.
attend para to
Yes
learn
po,
more
Doc.
about these considerations.
Yes po, Doc. So we have a comment from Emilu Sotomayor. Sabi niya po, it's very helpful to us, especially for me because I have no idea about research because I have no experience. So it's really good po na in thinking about a research topic, you reflect din po on yourself na ano nga ba yung interest ko, what do you want to do? Kasi as you've said nga po, Doc Evelie, the social relevance of research begins with you. So talagang babalik sa iyo yung tanong po, no? So
tsaka it's easier to work on something na you are interested in, diba?
Yes po, exactly po, Doc Evelie. Kasi po mas po, kumbaga mas feel mo gawin yung study mo if you're really inclined to it or it's really in your interest. So thank you for for that question rather.
Yeah, that's true.
Ito po, Doc, we have another question po. How do you from Yada Maria Kathleen po. Ang question niya po is how do you control po siguro yung key differences with regards to your research? I'm not sure what she means by this pero siguro po yung perhaps in in terms of cultural differences or yung difference in belief. How do you handle po yung mga differences nyo po as the researcher and your community in doing your research, especially from tayo po an outsider's perspective po tayo, no, and we'll be imbibing with the community. So how do you deal with that, or what's the approach to go with that, Dr. Evelie?
Well, first and foremost, you have to be respectful of yung kanilang mga you have to be respectful of people. And then you don't impose, 'di ba, sa kanila, like for example, yung mga beliefs natin, ganon. So we have to really be open to learning from them. So it all starts, I think sa akin basic yung mga basic courtesy, 'di ba? So we have differences, but you would be surprised, na when you're in the field, even if you have differences, it's possible na for you to have meaningful, okay, and engaging na conversations, okay? So in your case as a researcher, you're there to learn more about them, you're there to ask questions. So, minsan kasi pagkakamali ng mga researchers, sila yung nag-i-interview pero ang dami nilang mga sinasabi na 'di ba? So, as a researcher, it has to be clear to you rin, 'di ba, what your role is, okay, in the research process. And then you always have to be respectful of people. So, wherever you may be and whoever that person is, you have to give them the respect, na they deserve.
Thank you for that, Doc Evelie. And I think we have another question po, and I think it's related to that po. Perhaps you can add something to that. According to Maria Carla Martinez, her question is there a problem with the language barriers that you encounter during the study process and how you convey your findings to your participants or other research participants?
Yeah, I had an interpreter actually because um, yung yung mga particularly the younger farmers, they can speak a little Tagalog, no? So because this was done in Mindanao, so in southern Mindanao, so they can speak a little Tagalog and then a little and of course Bisaya. But then for the older farmers, they were speaking in their local dialect, and so I had to hire a research assistant, who's of course who can speak their local dialect and who is actually part of the community. So the good thing about it, yung mga nakuha kong research assistants that time, they were um, they were schooled, nakapag-aral sila, and they were familiar with the people dun sa community. So talagang mga karamihan mga, kasi it's a community, magkakakilala sila, magkakamag-anak sila. So they know yung mga so it was easy for me to immerse dun sa community because of through my research assistants. So laking tulong yon. Pero kunyari kung ako lang pupunta doon, definitely there's a language barrier. I won't be able to get their questions. So I had to have an interpreter, reliable interpreters, no, na comfortable sila na makipagkwentuhan. Okay, so it was kaya siguro maganda yung kinalabasan, no, nung mga interviews namin, nung mga kwentuhan namin, kasi they were comfortable with the people that they were conversing with. And ano naman sila very accommodating din. Oo. Tapos syempre when I went there, so I had of course to yung observe the proper mga protocols, 'di ba? So of course I had to meet with the elders dun sa community, so sa tribal council nila. So inexplain ko what the research is all about. So I also got the endorsement of the mayor doon. So kaya when I went there, so they knew kung sino ako, and then kilala nila yung mga research assistants ko. So hindi naging problema sa akin, no, yung language barrier.
So talaga pong Doc Evie, kailangan collaborative ang ating research.
Yes.
Really have to
Saka you have to choose
establish
the right people.
connections.
Yeah, you have to choose the right people to work with. Ako sinuwerte ako actually. It's also a combination of luck, 'di ba? Kasi yung nakuha kong research assistant ay kilala doon sa community. So sabi nga nila, nako ma'am, kung iba siguro baka medyo delikado rin, no, in this area kasi syempre, dayo ka, 'di ba? And then some of the areas na pinupuntahan namin were really remote areas. Nagkataon lang talaga kilala sila doon. They're from the place and they're relatives with many of the people around the community. And so we were, generally, it was a safe place for me to conduct research.
Thank you, Doc Evelie. So we have a comment po na actually thank you message from Mark Lester Saginsing. Sabi niya po is, ang galing niyo daw po mag-explain, Doc Evelie, nakaka-inspire daw po gumawa ng research.
Salamat. Thank
Dati
you
daw
very
po
much.
kinakabahan daw po siya
Right
pag
word.
naririnig ang practical research, pero dahil po sa inyo ay na-motivate daw po siya na gawin ng research.
Ay, wow. It's so good to hear that.
Thank you po, Sir Mark Lester. Ma'am, ito po, I think this was regards to related studies or references. May mare-recommend po kayo na mga, I think this is regards to extension po, na extension-related research. May mare-recommend po kayong related studies or reference materials with regards to your inclination of research? I think it's extension pa, no?
Education. Yeah, so, well, of course, there's the classic, no? So for the approaches, we have Axine. And then there's rolling. Okay, yun yung mga originals. And then I really found the publications of Christoplos very easy to read, simplified yung kanyang mga explanations of extension. So what else? Yun, so yung Vanden, Hawken, sino pa ba yung mga extension, tagal na rin, no, when I studied extension. So, ayun, you try to search for Christopoulos. And I think there's also Rivera. So, yun yung mga simplified yung kanilang mga explanations. Very, very easy reads yung kanilang mga publications. Sa
Thank you, Doc
extension.
Evelie.
For
And I
qualitative
think,
research, of course, there's always the classic Creswell.
yes po. And I
Yeah.
believe, Doc Evelie po, na isa din pala pong magandang simulan ng mga ating mga researchers is yung recommendations ng mga other studies po, no? Kasi di ba po usually in the
Yeah, that's
studies,
true.
they,
Oo.
at the end of the research, they put the recommendations for future researchers who might pursue the similar topic. So maganda din pong pagsimulan po yun, no? Na pwede nilang maging research topic. Yung mga recommendations of previous researchers.
Oh, yeah. And extensive review of literature would be very helpful kasi remember, when you're going to pursue research, it's not just because you're interested dun sa research na yon, di ba? Sabi nga natin, may purpose yan. At may sinasagot yan na research gap. And so the research gap has to be clear. So say for example, yun nga kanina, going back to one of the questions, no, yung sa topic. Kasi minsan, even if it's really your interest, hindi yun ang napipili ng committee mo. Kasi hindi mo ma-establish that there is a need for that study. So, when you pursue research, it's not just because you want to pursue it because you're interested doon, di ba? So you also have to be able to address a certain research gap. And so, yes, Josh, you're actually correct na in saying na sometimes it helps, no, to look dun sa recommendations for future studies kasi that can be a start. And then from there, di ba, you can conduct review of literature and see what studies have already been conducted about your topic of interest. Kasi baka meron naman ding angle na hindi pa masyado nagpo-pursue. So, pwedeng yun ang maging yun ang i-pursue mo na research.
Yes po, Doc Evelie, kasi po ako po personally, yun yung ginawa ko po sa aking undergrad research. I pursued my topic on KAP po ng wildlife conservation from a previous researcher po. Actually, a friend na nag-recommend po sa akin. So, dun po,
Diba
nakatulong
that
po sa
led you to
akin.
something, di ba? Oo.
It will actually make the workload easier pa kasi at least may trajectory line ka na ng iyong topic.
Yeah. So reading is key also in research. It would be difficult for you to do research if you don't read.
Yes po.
You really have to read.
Sabi nga daw po, ano po yan. Tama-tama po, Doc Evelie, kasi po the next 2 sessions next week will be about yung how to maximize yung library resources, tapos yung RRL naman. So
Swerte
talagang,
ka ng mga students ngayon because you have all these, resources available. During our time, very limited. We don't have access to all of these journals. Tapos ngayon, online, di ba? You can easily access it wherever you are.
yes po. Actually, I have my mother nga po when she was doing her master's thesis daw po. She was sharing her experience daw po yung pagdating sa library. You have to make use pa ng Dewey Decimal System na mano-mano kasi wala pa yung mga online catalog.
I don't know if it's still there sa library. I haven't been to the library in the longest time. But yun, ganun nga talaga. When yung undergrad students kami, we would have to, search the hard catalog for...
Yes po, Doc Evelie. So, ito po, Doc Evelie, we have another question from Roger. Actually, Doc, marami po tayong questions pa po. I think many have many want
we still have time
clarification.
naman.
Yes po, we still have time po. Ang question niya po is, di ba po ang usual approach natin ng research style is Western inclined. Do we already have a format na Filipino perspective or approach? I think this is an interesting question po.
Oo nga, it really is. Now, I don't know, kasi parang yun na yung nakasanayan din natin, no? But I think, yeah, that's something that I think I need to learn more about, no? But tayo kasi for example, ganun, no? We start always with parang there's a problem, di ba, that you want to develop. So, and then research. I don't know about the Filipino, no? I would have to research on that. But that's a very interesting question.
I think,
If
Doc
there's
Evelie, that's a good no? That's a good research topic na pwede nilang
how
pagsimulan.
Filipinos kasi we're
How
very
ano
much
ba?
influenced by what we read, 'di ba? And that's the thing kasi what we read are mostly yung mga available, yung in terms of mga publications, 'di ba? Most of them are really from from yung mga western 'di
Yes
ba?
po.
Mga binabasa natin. So we are very much influenced then also by what we read. And the references that are used, 'di ba, sa mga classes natin. So even the approach. Yeah, so maybe it's time that we also explore other ways or other approaches to do research.
So Sir Roger, I think that's a challenge po sa inyo na magkaroon kayo ng research
Yung
study.
Filipino yung Filipino
Yun nga
way
po,
of
bigla din po akong napaisip po kasi parang how I see the question po is parang do we have an existing framework perhaps or model about research na Filipino style? Parang ganun po.
I don't know how
Maganda po maganda pagbasa pag-researchan yan.
Oo, that's true.
Ito po, Doc Evelie, we have another question po. I think ito naman is more on establishing your partnerships. How can we build a research community? I think it's a broad question, pero what are your thoughts on this?
The research community. Okay.
Siguro po with your fellow researchers with the same inclinations po, no?
And then even sa class, for example, 'di ba, yung mga sharing of natin, yung mga I think yung mga the conferences that we attend, okay? So that's a start. Okay, kasi yung mga that's actually an opportunity, a good opportunity or venue for us also to network with other researchers. So for yung mga junior researchers, make the most of these opportunities. Kung may mga conferences na you can attend, mga even online. So that's a way for us to start creating that that research community. And then also yung mga professional organizations. So joining professional organizations, that's also an opportunity for you to be part of a research community. Okay, so yung mga membership sa mga professional organizations. Okay, they're there for a purpose, okay? And these professional organizations also provide us a venue to share yung mga research research outputs natin through yung mga forum, 'di ba? May mga symposium din, ganyan. So if there is an opportunity for you, 'di ba, to be a member of a professional organization sa inyong field of expertise, join these I recommend, okay? I strongly suggest na you join these professional organizations. Kasi ako rin ganun doon ako nagsimula. Yung mga kasi dahil may mga conferences, so i-invite kami, ganyan. So, and then you get to establish your networks there.
I agree po, Doc Evelie, no? Kasi it really starts with your yung mga colleagues mo
or even sa class, like for example, you can build a research community sa klase, yung mga sharing ninyo ng mga nabasa ninyo. You can even have students can even have sa SIPAF, I remember before, our graduate students association, they would hold yung mga brown bag series. So over lunch, they would talk about yung mga minsan mga relevant na mga readings or maybe certain issues. Ayan, so that can be a start, 'di ba? Konti lang kayo, mag-uusap-usap lang kayo over lunch. Oo, that can also be a way for us to create that research community among students that is. Pero later on, kahit yung mga students pag kunyari, lalo na graduate students, you can already join yung mga professional organizations. Undergrad students, immediately after you graduate, diba, you can join. Kasi many of you most probably would be pursuing graduate studies later on, diba? So this is an opportunity for you to be exposed din, diba, sa mga yung mga different research opportunities.
Thank you for that, Doc Evelie. I agree po dun sa yung sometimes yung mga research topics biglang lang nagpa-pop out of lunch or yung casual na chika natin with our friends.
Yeah.
Because it will turn out into a research paper collaborative research paper. So let's not underestimate yung ating mga small talks with our friends kasi
So,
diyan nagsisimula po yung mga brainstorming natin ng ating mga possible topics.
Sa klase, di ba, yung mga teachers ninyo, so sometimes they would assign yung mga research activities na collaborative, na group. It's done not just because di ba, misa para okay, group work para madali ganyan, but it's there's more to it than that eh. So it's really a chance for you to learn from one another. And so kung may opportunity din na to work in groups, di ba, make the most of that opportunity, di ba, to learn with your classmates, to pursue yung mga research with your classmates. So I know, I understand there are others who would like to work independently. But minsan may mga opportunities like that, yung mga group research, di ba? You can take advantage of that, okay? And that can be yung a start of, that research, okay, community that you were, that the participant mentioned.
Thank you, Doc Evelie. So I guess, mayroon pa tayong last 3 questions pa siguro before we proceed. Kasi marami pong I think marami pong nagkaroon ng reflect, dito yung mga feeling ko, ako nga po minsan kapag itong reflection nagkakaroon ng existential crisis pagdating sa research. Ito po, Doc Evelie, yung isang question according to Dane. How do we transform our research results and recommendations to reality, like a project or institutionalizing outputs? Any mechanisms you can share for us students who don't have enough access to research grants since the industry is very competitive, and assure that our thesis or researchers will not just be on bookshelves or laptops? Also, I think this is an interesting question po, Doc Evelie.
Yeah, it is. So, yeah, minsan kasi nga walang mga yung mga grants na that could help us parang transform or yung ating mga research findings into something that the community can benefit from. But during your research, di ba, sometimes you would be connecting with different institutions, okay, and even the local government, for example, if it's a development research. So dun pa lang, so after when you complete your research, kasi minsan ang tendency natin pag tapos na yung purpose natin dun sa community, di ba? Wala na, tapos na. Pag na-bind na ang research natin, that's it, tapos na siya. But yung simpleng pag-share ng manuscript mo doon sa mga institutions na tumulong sa'yo, that can already be a start. In one of our activity with Nagoya University, yung kanilang overseas field work, which are yung overseas field work na to, so we have students, okay, graduate students from Nagoya University na they would conduct their research write-up, yung research write-up nila, pinapadala nila to everyone who was involved doon sa research project. So they sent copies of the report to the local government unit na nakatrabaho nila. And then, yung mga ibang recommendations nila, we were informed na nagagamit nung local government unit. So, yung local government office nagagamit yung kanilang mga recommendations or yung mga data that they were able to gather when they were in the field. So I think that can be a start. So if during your research you were able to collaborate, di ba, with a certain office or institution or organization, after you complete your research, balikan nyo naman sila, di ba? Tapos i-share ninyo yung inyong research manuscript. Right now, remember yung si Dr. Bastida, si Estong, no? Bumabalik siya dun sa community eh. So, I know not everyone would have the same resources as Estong, pero si Estong kasi ginagawan din lang niya talaga ng paraan yun eh, na makabalik siya dun sa community. But yun nga, as I have said, the different institutions, organizations, or even individuals that you have worked with during your during your research, balikan nyo sila, padala nyo yung inyong manuscript, okay, yung inyong research manuscript, kasi that can be a chance, no, na for them to make use of yung mga research findings ninyo. So, and then of course, there are also grants, di ba? So, yung mga research grants, but tama, not everyone can access these grants eh. And then, may mga conferences naman, for example, na you can present your research findings. I know, minsan iba medyo mahal, no? But kami, for example,
Medyo mahina pa ang connection ni Doc Evelie. So, thank you po dun sa mga nagpapadala pa ng questions or comments po, no? So, if you have further questions or clarifications pa po with regards to our topic this morning on social relevance and research, especially yung mga napag-usapan ni Doc Evelie po, no? So, you can send her an email po. That's EP Serrano, EPSERRANO 2@up.edu.ph. Okay? So just kindly send Doc Evelie an email if you have inquiries or clarifications. So let's just kindly wait for her to join back in the Zoom space. So we'll read some of your comments po. So thank you so much dun po sa mga nag-post ng realizations, especially kay Chin Diaz. Let me read her comment. She says that I honestly thought that we were just conducting research for academic purposes only, because if we don't do it, we'll fail the subject. True nga naman. Pero sabi niya, without knowing that it is really important in our lives, and I am glad that I take the chance to watch and listen to this session because I understand the true meaning and purpose of conducting a research. So thank you for that, Chin Diaz. That's very well appreciated po. Kasi nga, after this 10-day session, talagang we really want na ma-imbibe ng ating mga students, ng ating mga researchers, na it's just not a requirement, na it's your entry to making a change sa ating society, sa ating community. It's actually your opportunity na makapagbigay ng tulong or contribution sa anumang issue, concern, or problem na gusto mong itulungan na may address. Diba? Okay. So, thank you very much sa mga nag-comment. Leonid Talabis, thank you UPLB LRC. Thank you Dr. Serrano for a very informative and very inspiring talk. Learning talaga is continuous process. So, thank you Sir Talabis for your comment po. So, we will strive harder po na makapag-provide pa po ng more sessions just like this. And since we're just in the second session, I hope tumutok pa po kayo hanggang sa ating 10th session, which will end next month, May 19. So isang buwan po tayo magsasama-sama na pag-uusapan ang research at iba't ibang aspeto ng research. So nakita nyo na if you were able to observe from last Tuesday session na about the research and extension agenda namin sa UPLB, it is followed by yung social relevance. Bakit nga ba ginagawa yon? And in the next sessions to come, for example, for next week, next Tuesday and Thursday, it will be about making use of the library resources. Paano nga ba gamitin ang library? O yung mga how to, tawag dito, paano mo i-access yung programs and services ng library. And on next Thursday naman, yung how to make yung tinatawag natin na review of related literature. So, I think Doc Evelie is back here with us. Doc Evelie?
Sorry, the internet got disconnected and I'm just using mobile. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, Doc Evelie, we can hear you po.
Naririnig pa?
Yes po.
I have my camera kasi yun nga, very, I don't know why. Yeah, so I'm actually in Bicol right now. So
Yes po, Doc. So
bigla na
ano
lang
po,
nawala yung internet.
you're ano po,
So
you're
yeah,
living the research nga
sorry
po,
about
ika
that.
nga. No, it's okay po, Doc Evelie.
Yeah.
So Doc Evelie, sobrang dami po nagpapasalamat sa ating ano po, sa ating Facebook Live, and I'm sure, I think many po or perhaps some po will be asking their questions po sa inyo through your email po. I think many would like to ano po, learn more, especially with regards to your research journey po in extension and yung immersion, yung mga
Yes.
aspects po ng research. So Doc Evelie, before we
Mhm.
close our session po, do you have any final words po for our participants? Any closing statements po with regards to the social relevance of research?
Oh yes, ayun. So again, thank you very much, no, for your participation. I appreciate the questions. I hope everyone can hear me clearly because internet is really problematic in this area. So yeah, in terms of the social relevance of research, so as we have yeah been reminded today, so research, right, has can have a strong social relevance, and we just have to as junior researchers, let's try to learn more about research and how we can connect research, right, with the sustainable development goals, okay, that were presented earlier. And as I've said, the social relevance of research starts with us. So let us, maximize the opportunity, okay, to do research. It can be, as I have said, a chance for us, diba, to give back then, no, to our community. So I hope you were able to catch that.
Thank you very much, Doc Evelie. So there you have it, guys.
Yeah,
Our
medyo choppy
speaker.
ang sound eh.
Ayan po, Doc Evelie. Loud and clear po
Thank
yan.
you.
There you have it, guys. Our speaker for this morning session,
Yeah,
Dr.
so
Evelie P. Serrano. So Team LRC would like to take this opportunity to thank our speaker for her valuable time. So to award the Certificate of Appreciation, may I kindly recognize our director at the Learning Resource Center, Assistant Professor John Mervin L. Embate. So allow me first to read the citation. University of the Philippines, Los Baños Learning Resource Center presents the Certificate of Appreciation to Dr. Evelie P. Serrano for serving as resource speaker during the webinar series Research is Life, How to Ace Your Research Paper during the second session entitled Solving Why, Doing Research with Social Relevance, held today, April 21, 2022 at the Learning Resource Center, UPLB College, Laguna. Signed by Assistant Professor John Mervin L. Embate, Director of LRC. Sir JM.
Thank you very much, Josh. And of course, thank you very much, Doc Evelie, for spending your morning with us. Sobrang na-appreciate ng mga participants natin yung things that you shared about making our research socially relevant, no? At sobrang nakakatawa yung mga comments ng mga tao on social media right now, and even dun sa menti kanina ni Doc Evelie. May nabasa ko dun kanina, no, I am not a nobody in research kasi kahit na however small your research contribution is to the greater good, it remains a contribution nevertheless. Sobrang ganda nung ganung takeaway na babaunin natin sa ating pag-uwi. And of course, no, sana na-pick up or natutunan din ng mga participants natin ngayon yung mga tips na pwede natin i-consider, hindi lang dun sa paghahanap natin ng research topic that aligns with our values, our advocacies, no, and the things that we would like to improve on in our community and in our country. But at the same time, no, in terms of writing the rationale and the significance of the study. So sana maging helpful ito naging session natin para mas maging excellent yung ating write-up on the significance of the study. And it also sends us a message, no, na yung pagiging significant, socially significant ng research, hindi siya nasa domain lang ng social sciences. Not every research can have a contribution to the greater good. No, kahit na nagpapasurvey ka lang, kahit na nag-i-interview ka lang ng mga tao, no, may malaki siyang effect, and eventually siya ay mag-trickle down, no, into a bigger impact to our community. And I would also like to highlight my own takeaway, no, from the talk of Doc Evelie Serrano. The first one being yung what is common, the contributions that we think are very common in research, contributions to the body of knowledge, no? Na yung research natin, makakatulong siya para makatulong dun sa mga future researchers natin on how they could come up with their own topic. Any frameworks that they use can also be adopted to future researches, no? At the same time, yung findings ng study natin, no? Pwede siya maging takeaway para makapag-graph ng panibagong research in the future. So, contribution to the body of knowledge. Second naman ay yung contribution to the society. Nakakatulong yung research natin, yung findings ng research natin to come up with plans or designs for interventions or initiatives that could address any problem, kahit na existing man yan or emerging problems that a community or a society faces. At the same time, makakatulong din yung research na to come up with policies, no, that could address these concerns or issues. Pero yung pangalawa, yung medyo hindi natin nare-realize at ngayon na-realize natin because of Doc Evelie Serrano's talk, yung how research contributes to the research participants as well. No? Na yung when you do your interview, when you ask people, it also provides an avenue for them to be heard, for them to voice out their experiences, their challenges. So parang mas nabibigyan sila ng recognition na maaaring hindi na pagtutuunan ng pansin because of different issues, no? Kaya nga, no, hopefully matouch natin to when we discuss qualitative research, no? Yung idea of conscientization, no, na para nako-conscientize natin yung mga participants natin sa research natin. So we don't just extract information from them, but yung dialogue natin with them is also a healthy, productive avenue for them to think about their relation to the world where they live in. And at the same time, no, very empowering. May opportunity ang research to empower our research participants, most especially no doon sa mga participatory research approaches na pwede nating dalhin doon sa ating mga pananaliksik. At yung nakuha natin then from Doc Evelie, how research could also change or be an avenue for empowerment sa atin as researchers, no? Nakagaya nung na-discuss kanina ni Doc Evelie, no? Nalalaman natin, na-solidify yung ating advocacies, yung ating interest, at saka yung direction natin when we do our research. Kaya kanina I was also reminded of my own thesis advisee in DevCom, no? Shout out the advisee ko, si Edgar, no? He did a research on people living with HIV, no? And it became actually his advocacy eventually. So he started working in Love Yourself after graduating. And now he bagged a scholarship grant abroad, no? With his own advocacy. So nakikita natin na kapag nag-research ka, mas nakikilala mo yung sarili mo at mas nagkakaroon ka ng direction in life. So doon sa mga young researchers natin, sa mga high school students who are tuning in right now, so huwag kayong matakot, huwag kayong kabahan, no? At kailangan makita nyo yung research nyo beyond doon sa confines ng class requirements. No, na ma-recognize nyo na tong research na to, however small it is, no, meron siyang patutunguhan. At kung ano yung patutunguhan ng research nyo, kasama kayo doon. Na meron kayong mararating dahil sa inyong research. So with that, thank you very much, Doc Evelie, for such an informative and enlightening talk. Maraming salamat po sa inyo. And it's really a pleasure for us here in LRC to have you as our research person today. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much, Sir JM, for your wonderful message pa and for sharing your thoughts pa with regards to our session pa. So ako din po personally, madami po akong nakuhang insights and marami po akong pagninilayan tungkol sa research. So and its social relevance po sa ating community. So thank you very much, Sir JM, and thank you very much, Doc Evelie. Now for the evaluation of this session. Please do not forget to answer the evaluation form after this webinar to receive your e-certificate of attendance. So your comments and suggestions will be deeply appreciated by our team, #TeamLRC. So the evaluation link is being shown right now on your screen. and I have already placed it. I pinned it in the comment section of our FB Live. So you may also scan the QR code and be directed to the evaluation form right away. Okay, so it's tinyurl.com/research is live session to eval. Okay, so please be reminded that the deadline of responses is only until 10 p.m. tonight to give our system enough time to reset before the next session. Okay, so kindly take note. Please take a screenshot. For our teachers, you may want to take a screenshot and send this link to your students who have attended our session this morning, okay? Or you may also retrieve the recording afterwards. Just kindly answer before 10 p.m., okay? So we hope that we all gain inspirations and valuable insights from our speaker this morning. So join us. I invite you, all our participants, to join us in our next session next Tuesday. That's April 26, 2022, still at 9 a.m. Our session's title for the third session is I Live You, making use of the UPLB main library programs and services for your research. So napag-usapan na natin yung research and extension agenda of UPLB, yung social relevance naman ng research. Now we will proceed with the maximizing our use of our library, yung ating university library dito sa UPLB. So we will have that session together with Dr. Mary Ann Imgua, our university librarian of the main library of UPLB. Okay, so at this point, we would like to recognize and thank our team, #Team LRC, and the Research is Life team, headed by our director, Sir J.M. Embate, with the support of our Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs, Dr. Janet H. Malata Silva. On our technical side is our Project Development Associate, Ms. Ana Margarita Palma. And a big shout out to Team LRC's members, Ms. Cheryl Hermosa Ebron, Ms. Ellen Limangente, and Mr. Elmer Balatian. And a big thank you again to Doc Evelie, our very passionate speaker for this morning. So to end, let me share with you this quote from Zora Neale Hurston. She says that research is formalized curiosity. It is poking and prying with a purpose. So your research, guys, don't forget that your research is not just a requirement for graduation. So hindi lang siya requirement, but it's our social responsibility in doing our part in making a relevant contribution and change to our community. So always remember, #research is life. So thank you so much everyone for joining us. Stay hopeful, stay healthy, stay safe, and we'll see you next Tuesday. Goodbye everyone and have a happy lunch.